Coming to you from the Lydia Media Studios in the heart of Lewiston, Auburn, it's Lydia's Lunch Bunch, LA's afternoon morning show with Mark and Pam. We're covering news and events in the greater LA area and talking to the people making a difference in our community. Feel free to share your comments, questions, or suggestions via email at podcast@lydiamediallc.com.
Today's show is brought to you by Ruper's Beverage and Redemption. When it comes to beer, wine, and spirits, don't botch it, squatch it. At 4 locations in Lewiston, Auburn, and Oxford. Learn more at rupersbeverage.com. And remember, the party starts at Ruper's. Also by Deploy Electric, building lasting relationships since 1967. From homes to businesses, their licensed, fully trained technicians handle it all. Repairs, upgrades, standby generators, EV chargers, heat pumps, and more. No job is too big and no job is too small. Learn more at deployelectric.com.
Coming up here in just a bit, we're going to be joined in studio by the owner of Neokraft Signs, Mike Mathieu.
Yeah.
Local legend.
Local legend, for sure.
So we're going to talk to Mike all about Neokraft and what they have to offer coming up here in just a bit. But before we do, let's take a look at some headlines for Tuesday, February 24th.
Senator Susan Collins will be the only member of Maine's congressional delegation to attend Donald Trump's State of the Union address this evening. Senator Angus King said Trump has shown no respect for the principles upon which this country is based, and he cannot, in good conscience, participate in a function with this president at its center.
Representative Shelley Pingree will attend a rally with dozens of colleagues on the National Mall billed as the People's State of the Union, and Representative Jared Golden said he will not attend, but will watch from home.
The Maine legislature will consider a proposal that could assist municipalities in repurposing vacant school buildings into housing. The proposal has broad support from developers and municipal officials.
And the recently renovated Dr. Milford Wedgwood House in Lewiston will be recognized during the March 18th Maine Preservation Honor Awards ceremony in Portland. The house was built in the 1870s and was transformed by Avesta Housing and Lewiston Housing into part of an 82-unit housing campus. Now it's time for the weather.
Rain or shine, it's all okay. Grab your uke and start the day. You don't need perfect skies above. Hey, just a song and a little love.
Sunny all day today. We'll have a high of 27 and a low of 9. Cloudy with some late morning snow tomorrow. We could get 2 to 3 inches. A high of 29 and a low of 6. A mixture of sun and clouds on Thursday with a high of 33 and a low of 18.
In sports, the Celtics visit the Phoenix Suns tonight at 9.
The NA3 Nordiques lost to the Binghamton Buzz 4-0. They'll play again this afternoon at 1 p.m. in Auburn.
And the Bruins are back in action on Thursday at 7 p.m. as they will host the Columbus Blue Jackets. That is your news, weather, and sports. And right now it's time for the podcast segment that is sweeping the Twin Cities. It's time for famous people birthdays.
They're famous. It's their birthdays. It's famous people birthdays. It's famous people birthdays.
Let's take a look at FPBs for February 24th, shall we?
Looking a little thin, but
It's a little thin, but it's all right. We got a couple of good ones in there.
Yeah.
Actor Billy Zane is 60 years old today. His breakthrough role was in the Australian film Dead Calm that came out in 1989. And he also starred as the main antagonist, Caledon Hockley, in the film Titanic in 1997.
now I know who you're talking about.
Now you know. Musician George Thorogood is 76 years old today.
Look at him. He's bad to the bone.
You know his big hits. Bad to the Bone, I Drink Alone. He's got so many great ones. And what I love about George is he brings back some older songs as well.
Yeah.
From like American icons, like Move It On Over by Hank Williams. George does a great rendition of that. Who Do You Love by Bo Diddley. Mm-hmm. And the House Rent Blues, better known as One Bourbon, One Scotch, One Beer.
That's a great one.
By John Lee Hooker. Have you ever seen George in concert?
No.
I want to say it was the late 90s. And I was already a huge fan, and I became a bigger fan.
Okay, I'm
after
like,
that
please
show.
don't. You know
Oh,
when
no.
you have such high expectations and you go and it's just, you're like, what
Yeah.
was that? It just ruined it for me. I was hoping you weren't going to go there.
Oh, no.
Nice.
He was unbelievably
That's
good.
awesome.
The band, his band, the Delaware Destroyers, they recently celebrated their 50th anniversary of performing
Wow.
a couple of years ago in 2024. So over 50
amazing.
years and still going strong. And what I can tell you about his performance in Portland, not only did he sound as good or better than the studio versions of his songs, phenomenal guitar player, excellent showman, and they played forever.
Wow.
They
yeah.
wore the crowd out.
Yeah, that's
Like,
awesome.
yeah.
You were like, okay, I got my money's worth.
It's like, love what I'm seeing, love what I'm hearing, but my God, I gotta,
Past my bedtime.
yeah, I got to work in the morning. Actor Edward James Olmos is 79 years old today. He's best known for his roles as Detective Gaff in Blade Runner, that came out in 82. Lieutenant Marty Castillo from Miami Vice from 84 to 89. And I wonder if he wore any pastels. I don't remember him.
I mean, who didn't wear
That's
pastels
true.
in Miami?
That's true. Everybody, even the cars were pastel. And he also played high school math teacher Jamie Escalante in Stand and Deliver. That came out in 1988.
All right. I recognize, obviously, Miami Vice and Stand and Deliver, but
Yeah.
I don't know who Edward James Olmos is.
If you were to Google him
Yeah,
right now, you'd be
probably.
like, oh, yeah, that guy.
Oh, that guy. See, and I'm so much better with faces anyway.
Yeah.
So that's what my problem with famous people birthdays a lot of times. Like, I could look them up and probably know who they are, but
And rounding out FPBs for February 24th is actor Barry Bostwick, who is 81 years old today. He's best known for portraying Brad Majors in the Rocky Horror Picture Show way back in 1975. He also played Mayor Randall Winston in the sitcom Spin City that starred Michael J.
Oh,
Fox
yeah.
from 96 to 2002. Those are your FPBs. Now it's time for some OTDs. It happened on this day. It happened on this day. It happened on this day.
let's start with a downer, shall we? 12 years ago in 2014, comedy genius Harold Ramis died at age 69. He was a writer, director, and actor who had a hand in such classics as Ghostbusters, Animal House, Meatballs, Stripes, Caddyshack, National Lampoon's Vacation, Groundhog Day, and Analyze This.
If it was funny, Harold Ramis had
Yeah.
a hand in it.
You can't watch any of those movies with a straight face.
No.
15 years ago, in 2011, the Space Shuttle Discovery launched for the final time. 27 years ago, in 1999, Lauryn Hill won the Best New Artist at the 41st Grammy Awards.
What was her big hit? Was it Killing Me Softly?
Yes.
I gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
28 years ago, 1998, Elton John was knighted by Queen Elizabeth in Buckingham Palace. How cool. He was a knight. Sir Elton John. What a...
Sir Elton of Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting.
More royalty. 45 years ago in 1981, Buckingham Palace announced the engagement of Prince Charles to Lady Diana Spencer. Oh, such a tragedy that was.
Did you watch that wedding?
I don't think I watched it, but I remember seeing clips of it,
Yeah.
probably after or maybe during. I don't really remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the
I was
year
young.
they got married, but I was probably 12 or 13, and I was over a friend's house, and his mom had it on TV, and she was losing her mind about how excited she was and how beautiful Diana was, and it was like I wanted to leave the house. I'm like, she's making me uncomfortable.
Got uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The world was obsessed with Princess Diana.
Yeah.
As they should have been. She seemed to be a amazing person.
Yeah.
50 years ago in 1976, the Eagles' Greatest Hits became the very first album in the U.S. to be certified platinum for selling 1 million copies.
that.
Wow, the Eagles, huh?
Never get into them.
Yeah, me neither, really.
Yeah, they're always one of those bands like, yeah, I could take them or leave them.
Yeah. I have a friend and her boyfriend. If he ever asks her who this song is, who sings this song, she always responds. And I think it might be the Eagles, and she always responds the Eagles. She's like, well, I'm going to be right one of these times.
They have a lot of songs.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, the odds are in her favor.
140 years ago, In 1886, Thomas Edison married 19-year-old Mina Miller in Akron, Ohio. After Edison taught her Morse code, he and Mina would communicate back and forth, tapping messages into each other's hands. He proposed by tapping the words, "Will you marry me?" She tapped back, "Yes." How cute.
I wonder if she was 100% sure that she tapped back yes.
Which one's yes? I have a 50-50 shot right
That's
now.
right. Let's see if this works out.
And 205 years ago, in 1821, Mexico declared its independence from their overlords in Spain.
There you go. Those are your FPBs and OTDs for February the 24th.
Whether you want a sit-down meal or a grab-and-go, Pat's Pizza in Auburn offers delicious sandwiches, pasta, salads, and pizza at family-friendly prices. Pat's Pizza, serving the L.A. area since 1985. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at 85 Center Street in Auburn. Online at patsauburn.com.
Hi, it's Donna Harris from Phoenix No Limits Karate here with your daily safety tip. Keep car doors locked while pumping gas. Let's all do our best to keep our community safe.
As promised, we are joined in studio by co-owner and president of Neokraft Signs, Mike Mathieu. Mike, how are you?
I'm well, Mark. Thanks for having us.
And Pam warned us that you were going to bring in some guests with you.
I have some special guests this morning, Mark.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you want to introduce them?
We'll highlight the
to us?
special.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I have two of my outside sales guys, project managers, if you will. I've got a Clay Bublak, who's been with Neokraft Signs for many, many years. I don't want to date him or age him at that point, but longer than myself. And Mike Langelier, a recent addition here in the last 8-9 months or so, who started selling signs and seems to enjoy it. So I thought I'd bring him in and hope he talks nice.
Well, if he doesn't, you know what to do.
I do.
Right, yeah. And Clay, when I asked for your title, the first word out of your mouth was grunt.
Yes, it was.
All right, what's that all about?
I do just about anything that needs to be done. I do everything from installs, sales, service. Wherever I can help out, I do my best.
Mike, for folks who aren't familiar with Neokraft, I don't know why they wouldn't be, but let's say they're new to the area. What can you tell them about Neokraft Signs?
Well, we've been around since 1947. I'm proud to say I'm the fifth owner, if you will. It's always been family-owned. Not always the same family, but people from within the company who's always had a chance to purchase. And that's what I was able to do. I've been with the company for about 10 years now and purchased from the previous owner. We're an all-functioning sign shop, if you will. Custom stuff is what we really prefer. We're a fully UL shop, which means we can build the signs in-house that contain electrical features such as lighting or electronic message centers, you know, the different signs you see out there. We are licensed to do that in-house right here in Lewiston, Maine. So sets us apart from a few people rather than having your signs, you know, bought out of town or purchased out of country even. You know, if you keep it here with us, pretty much everything, and I won't say 100%, but pretty much everything is made right here in Lewiston.
And not only do you see Neokraft's work throughout the state of Maine, but you can see it throughout New England as well.
You can see us all throughout the United States,
Well,
to be
there you
honest
go.
with you, Mark. Yeah, but we do cover New England on a regular basis, but if somebody's willing to pay us, we'll go and do it.
What types of signs around here are most notable that Neokraft has installed and fabricated?
Boy, if you go up and down Center Street, and I mean, I can get Clay involved in this. He's done quite a few of them himself, so I know off the top of my head a few like Republic Jewelers. We just did the new brand new one at Gippers, which, you know, they've had a sign there for 20 plus years. They entrusted us to the new sign this year, which is over their entryway, which is a big change from what they had. Clay, a couple others we probably have up and down the area.
You could go up to the T-Mobile shop where Edward Jones is. Done a lot of the old Evergreen location and the new Evergreen location.
Biggest thing we just did, actually not right here, you know, on the main road, but there's a company we deal with called Rugged Roots in Auburn, and they've got a facility out on Kitty Hawk, and we just did some 5-foot letters out there, and P&G Tampax out that way too on Hotel Road did some 6-foot lit letters for both of them. So if you want to see some cool things lit up at night, you know, again, 5-6 foot tall letters are pretty neat to see.
And I think I remember too, Mike, didn't Neokraft fabricate and install the Hopeful sign?
We've done all the hopeful signs in the state of Maine, actually, Mark. Yes. Yeah, there's probably 7 or 8 of them out there right now. You know, most notably the Lewiston one, which was the first one to go up. But yeah, throughout the state, we've done all the hopeful signs.
And I remember a couple of years ago when you and I did a radio interview, not far from here, right up the road.
That's right.
You introduced me to Charlie Hewitt.
That's right, and Charlie's the one who's behind the hopeful signs, and we've done quite a bit of other work with him throughout the state there again. Big stuff we've done. He's actually got in New York City. We've got a hopeful down in Maryland where his brother lives. His brother wanted to promote that as well. And working on a really cool piece that he's working with, I won't say the city of Lewiston, but it seems like the Museum of L.A. and such. They're doing a big piece that Mr. Platts here is involved in as well. So it's going to be really cool. Again, doing it all right here in Lewiston, and it's custom artwork for Charlie. So he's really getting well known throughout the U.S. and internationally even. He sent some stuff overseas recently as well. So
As he should. His star should shine as bright as it possibly could. He's a great guy, and thank you for making that introduction as well. Charlie, his work is now featured at the Maine Mill. The exhibit is called Drawn in Light, and there's going to be an artist talk tomorrow from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m.
how about that USA hockey team?
How about
Let's do
that
that
USA?
real quick.
You want to do that real quick?
Oh, yeah. Come
All right.
on. I'm still got chills from it. Mike's a big hockey fan. I know Clay was probably watching it or heard all about it, whether he did or not, but that was just fantastic.
It was. And I took a little bit of heat before that game because everybody kind of knew it was going to be the U.S. and Canada in the finals. That's what we were all hoping for. You want to see the best against the best, especially in the Olympics, right? And I was saying that my wife is a big hockey fan, and she wants to see the U.S. win every game 10-0. I'm just the opposite. I wanted overtime in that game because these are the best hockey players in the world, playing for the two best teams in the world. I want to see them play under pressure. And what did we get? We got overtime, and we got a fantastic finish, too.
Especially where I was. It was funny. I was actually up at Sugarloaf for the weekend at some friends, and they had the game on Sunday morning at the Sugarloaf Inn at the Shipyard Brewing, actually. They were doing a brunch. And the day before, I ran into so many Canadians at Sugarloaf. I was really surprised, when you hear there aren't many people coming. Well, guess what? Sugarloaf was full of them. I had a chance to talk to three guys on the chairlift from Ottawa, and we were going back and forth about who was going to win. They were hockey players. We were, a little bit of dig in here and there, but just had a great time. Nobody got upset. And then the next morning, I happened to see them in there having brunch. Jokingly, well, after that final goal, they kind of gave me the head shrug and walked out. So it was neat, though. But it's everybody's hockey fans.
Yep.
Yeah, I have to agree. As far as hockey goes, that's probably the best you can see. And I was texting a lot of friends during the game that live, out of state, down in Florida. They were all watching the game, and we just couldn't believe just the talent on the ice and just how exciting that game was. That is the best hockey you can possibly watch.
It's like the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 7 on steroids.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's what that was. That was just amazing.
I honestly, I have to say I was kind of leaning back in the recliner. It's a Sunday morning game, right? So I was not out partying at a bar somewhere. I was literally in my living room. My wife and I had breakfast and just enjoyed watching the game. But I jumped out of my seat when they scored, and I kept saying probably for a half hour, "Thank God, thank God, thank God." I think I said it all the way until the medals went around the guys' necks. I was just like, I love both teams. I really do. I'm French Canadian, so it was a win-win. I didn't really care. I just wanted to see a great game. I did care, though. I wanted to see USA. It was just so exciting. I literally jumped out of my chair. And my wife said, "Did it go in? Did it go in?" I said, "Yeah, we just scored."
Yeah. And that was the thing, too. It wasn't really obvious.
No.
The puck went in the net when it was shot. It was just a rocket.
Yeah, and if you notice that camera angle at the end of the game, they kind of just shot on the goalie. And the celebration took like 3 seconds for them to pan to that area. So my wife looked at me like, "Did it go in?" I go, I think so.
Everyone's celebrating. Let's join them.
That sounds good.
Yeah. That was really awesome. Clay, did you watch the game?
I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but I did follow along as best I could, and proud for the USA to bring it home again.
And it was so good, and my wife gets into it a lot. And she rewatched the game that night at 4 o'clock. And she's like, "Hey, did you see? I was like, "Wow, you're right. We missed that earlier." So it's kind of neat.
And what I loved about it too is Canada had their chances.
Yes.
Canada outplayed them for the majority of the game. They had plenty of chances to tie and in some cases pull ahead, and it just didn't work out for them. And were they sour grapes after it all went down.
It's funny. My wife's a big hockey fan, and she did mention when you see the presentation of medals at the end of the game, and they do the silver first. And she said, "What a bunch of crybabies." I'm like, I think they're just really sad they lost. But you could just see the expression on the Canadians, and I was just like, Yes.
There is a way to lose with dignity, and I think
Yes.
they missed it.
Yeah, I think so too.
They missed it.
Yep.
Especially when they were handing out the stuffed animals, too.
I know. Exactly. And I think later in the day, Nathan McKinnon plays for Colorado Avalanche, but was on the Canadian team, captain or an assistant captain, I believe. He made a comment, we were obviously the better team, and I wanted, if I was in his face, I would have said, not that day.
Not that day, and that's the same guy who missed an empty net.
Yes,
Let's not forget
that's
that.
correct.
Yeah. And the coach, John Cooper, I believe it is, who also, he's the head coach for Tampa Bay, had a great deal of respect for him coming in. I always thought he was a great coach.
Sure.
And then afterwards, he started complaining about the 3-on-3 format. It's like, where were those complaints before the tournament started?
And he certainly wouldn't have complained had Canada
Well,
won.
that's exactly right. And like, where was that complaint when Canada won in overtime?
There
Correct.
you go.
I
right?
I didn't hear any of that. But anyway, I think it was great the way it all went down.
That's it. And hey, I'd be pretty happy with the silver. So, if they don't want it, ship it to the USA. We'll take those too.
That's right. Yeah.
For a coaster set, I'm good.
Right. And congrats to the women's team as well.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
they took it to them. Both of those games were incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, great finishes, overtime on both. I mean, that's what you want to see in the Olympics,
Yep. So we own hockey for the next 4 years.
That's right.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
we'll take
sure.
it.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right, back to business. Mike, what made you want to pursue a career with Neokraft?
Career
Well-
in general, I was told I had to, but no, go ahead, Langelier.
So it was a funny story. Mike and I were chatting last summer, and Mike was telling me about his business, how business was going. And one thing led to another. He just mentioned he's looking for, inside sales, an outside sales rep, someone that, knows the industry enough to go out and talk with people, see what their needs are. Within a couple weeks, I think Mike and I got together again over a beer and settled on, how I could come in and then start up with them. And I got to be honest with you, it's been about 8 months, so I'm still relatively new to this. But the family environment within the company and just everyone really kind of working together, it's really a nice thing to see. And it was such a good fit for me. I still learn a lot from these guys here with Mike and Clay and everyone else in the company. But it's been really exciting, and like I said, it's such a nice group of people to work with from on day-to-day basis.
Culture goes a long
Yes,
way
it does.
in not only building a company and a brand, but also maintaining your employees.
Yep.
Mike Mathieu, how would you describe the culture at Neokraft?
Like any place, you see some things that you'd like to change or fix, and we work on it on a regular basis. But for the most part, you can ask 2 or 3 individuals if they need to get a job done, they'll pull together, get it done. Whether you're pulling them off another job or, we don't have the people here when I say, they're on a job or whatever. It's not that's not my job atmosphere. It's one of these we all have to pull together to get things done. The workforce these days is not as plentiful as it used to be, so we try to get by with, who we need and the need as far as people who are doing things and making it work. People walking around these days, talking, conversations, it just doesn't fly, not just with me, with anybody in particular. And it doesn't fly with the other employees either. So they're all watching one another's back, make sure we don't get caught up in it, and try to work together to get these jobs out. Like they know if we're having to rework or jobs aren't getting out, if I don't have installers every day, then I'm not billing and they're not getting paid. So it's a daily occurrence. We have to have jobs in the shop going, turning them around and keep our install crews going. So everybody knows what needs to be done. So I think that's what helps the culture. It's not one of these, well, they can do it or they can do it. Mm-hmm. Some of the newer people, sometimes it takes a little bit saying, well, this is what I was hired for. So we have those conversations. Well, this was your immediate need, but you may have to do this. I've got some inside fabricators we have to send on the road sometimes. When you tell somebody they're going out and it's 10 degrees out, they're not always happy, but they're going to do it because they know the job needs to get done. And try to take care of them when they do have to do stuff like that. So I think it's pretty good. Clay's seen a few different cultures. He's been there for a few different owners, if you will. So we tried to carry on what the previous owner did. I don't believe before that they used to do, things like we've done. I can let Clay elaborate a little bit. Yeah, seen some changes, yeah.
Yeah. What about those changes, Clay?
We've always been a very cooperative company. It seems like we're pushing more towards being more family-oriented now and really pushing that culture that we're all in this together and let's all make this work as a team.
And you've been out there in 10-degree weather doing installs.
That I have. Some days it's pretty rough, that's
Right.
for sure. The wind, the rain, the snow, the cold. It makes it tough, but you got to do what you got to do. It's the job, and you kind of know what you're signing up for.
And you guys hang and display every type of sign there is.
Mm-hmm.
Are there some installations that are more difficult than others?
Yes and no. I mean, sometimes you get something that that's very critical in a high visibility area that's, you got to be absolutely perfect with. And other times it's a brand new build and it all just goes together real easy from the ground up. Each individual install and build can have its own trials and difficulties, but in the end, it's what the quality is what counts.
What was your most difficult install in your career?
I don't even know. Obviously, I'll say it was definitely something that was very high up. Because I'm not, it's pretty sad. I'm a sign guy, and I'm afraid of heights. Never liked it, but I've done it. I think probably one of the craziest ones was a giant set of letters down in Reading, Mass for Jordan's Furniture. Like just the J was like 14 feet tall.
Oh, my God.
And you see that. That's the Jordan's right on 495 or something, right? So you see that big Jordan's Furniture. So, yeah, that was done by Neokraft Signs down in Massachusetts years ago.
And, Mike, I'm assuming you've done some installs as well in your career.
I have, and I've been fortunate enough to travel a little bit more on some of those installs as well. We used to do all the Olympia sports when they were open. So we used to do all the East Coast for them, and they would literally pay us to go and do those. So those were pretty fun to get going on, and they were always different. But yeah, being out in the cold sometimes is never fun, but I'm not going to ask my guys to do anything I wouldn't do. Yesterday we had an emergency call due to the high winds and such, and I met my crew on site just to make sure they were good to go. I hated to do it, but it was a safety thing with a sign got hit by a plow truck in a parking lot, people walking in and out. So the owner really asked, and again, it's tough to send our guys out on a day like that. But where the safety concern came in, I wanted to go out too with them and went out there and gave them a hand best I could to start them out. Granted, they did the brunt of it, and I left, after that, but made sure they were all set. It's just, one of those things that we like to put our eyes on stuff before we ask our crew to go do it. So that's just like Mike and Clay here. Anytime we quote a sign or somebody wants something done, we go on site. People can say, oh, yeah, I've got this sign, I've got that. Oh, yeah, everything looks good. We need to go on site because that's our name on it after if we're going to use existing steel or something they had previously, or we got to let them know, we're not going to do anything with that because it's not safe. As a company, we have to take that into consideration because, again, not only our name but liability if something happens.
Sure, yeah.
Just like hanging any signs on buildings, in Portland we have to give them extra liability insurance, waivers so they know if that sign falls off, it's us that's responsible. It's not the city. So.
Right.
We've got a lot at stake, so we got to make sure it's done right. So we're not a fly-by-night outfit. We're here to stay.
Over 75 years.
That's right.
You've been here,
yeah, coming into 80 here pretty soon. I got to figure that one out.
Gonna start planning that party, right?
That's right. Yeah, for sure.
Mike Langelier, aside from the longevity and the reputation that Neokraft has established over the past nearly 80 years, how do you sell Neokraft? What sets it apart from the competition?
In my short time I've been with Neokraft, I can tell you that Neokraft kind of sells itself. And what I mean by that is that usually when I go and talk with someone or a new customer, they've never dealt with Neokraft before, they've heard of them, or they've caught wind of where to get a sign. Oh, I talked to these three people. They love the signs that you guys did for them. Can you guys do something similar? I think Mike touched on it too. One of the things that sets us apart is, people will call in, can you give me a quote on a sign? Well, where's it going? Well, it's up at, whatever. I've been from Agunquit to Bangor and beyond. That's just myself. Yeah. So I've traveled all over the state of Maine in a short period of time. But what people like about how we do things is that I'll immediately set up a meeting and meet on site. So I can get my eyes on it. What do you need? Get the measurements out, because everything's so customized. Some is some repeat. Yeah, we've done it before. We're replacing something. But a lot of the stuff is brand new. They don't really have an idea of what they want. And then, again, that team effort on Neokraft's side of things, from taking their concept, putting it through our design team, getting that look for them, showing that to them, getting them pricing. I think that goes a long way, and it helps developing that immediate relationship with someone. I just spoke with a couple different new customers in the last week, and they like that. And they've said that to me. We like your approach. We like that you jump on site and you already have a good concept of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to put up there. So I think that does go a long way for Neokraft.
I'm curious, too, and I'll throw this out to anybody, what some of the biggest advancements in your industry have been over the past few decades. I'm going to assume that going from fluorescent to LED lighting has been a big one.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's huge, definitely. And, what people don't realize when we have to remove fluorescents now, because we don't carry fluorescents for installing new at all. You'll still have some electrical companies that will replace bulbs out there and such. If anybody asks us, we won't do bulbs. There's mercury in those bulbs, so with us, because we handle them, we have to treat them as hazardous materials, whereas the homeowner doesn't. That would be a big one, the LEDs. Clay deals a lot in the message centers, just those. You see them everywhere. He could probably elaborate more on that, what's changed there in just 10 years, I bet.
Oh, the quality and the resolution, the pixel count, meaning how crisp your images and text can be, have come so far from what it was, like you said, even 10 years ago. But, you can go back 25 years ago. Neokraft did the Augusta Civic Center. We took down that old, I called it a flip-o-matic, where it just flipped from black to green letters and put up a digital sign up there. And that was just a huge advancement in that type of messaging, where you don't have to go out and put up the plastic letters on a board in the freezing cold anymore, to some sort of digital signage that you can do from a computer. And then now it's all cellular based, where you don't even have to be at one specific computer at your office. If you've got a snow day and you need to shut down, you can change your sign from home.
And for all you Patriot fans out there, Gillette just got a huge makeover, all those EMCs and all those electronic message boards. Neokraft sells those. We could make you just like the Patriots.
There you go. Look at that.
And this is coming from a huge Steeler fan.
You shouldn't have said that.
You've just been
air.
outed.
Right?
Oh,
It might be all done, right? Mike's all done.
I was thinking, too, as Clay was talking about the difference in the resolutions and stuff, just think about the original Super Mario Brothers video game compared to what we have today.
Yeah,
It's night and day.
Look at One City Center. They want to change that now. Those are still just old bulbs that are just, we did that sign back in the 80s. I wasn't there yet, but flew that up with helicopters back then. So I don't know what they're going to do about getting these down now, but it's going to be pretty much the same method, I think.
Wow.
But just, if they were to replace that with something new, state-of-the-art, that's going to be gorgeous up there and will last them the next, 10, 15 years without question.
What's the longevity for LEDs compared to fluorescents?
Industry standards. We'll just say what
Sure.
the manufacturers recommend and all that happy stuff. They always said that fluorescents, you should change them out every 2 years. Was the standard lifespan of a fluorescent lamp. LEDs generally are rated for approximately 100,000 hours. So if you kind of do out the math, it's 4.5 years of continuous 24 hours a day, and over 11 years if you just run it, for 8 hours in an evening when it gets dark out, before, no traffic is out there on the roads.
Well, and then the power usage on the LEDs is such a savings, too, and as far as how many lights you can put on just a circuit these days. Same with the message centers. These people want these EMCs all the time, and the old ones used to draw quite a bit. Now you can put a larger sign on a smaller circuit and still be able to service it and have it, that 100% illumination that you're looking for.
You run the math out, and typically LED signs now, whether it's letters or actual sign cabinets, whatever, take about 75% less power.
Wow. I'm curious, too, what the smallest and largest jobs you guys have completed in your time.
Oh, I know what your largest one probably is, Clay.
Which one would that be?
I'm thinking the Bangor waterfront.
So Maine Savings Amphitheater is exclusively Neokraft signs. We've done everything from the marquee signs, the digital signs that are displaying the concert for the lawn section, to the flag-mounted bathroom signs and the seat section signage and concessions. Everything there is something that we've done. We've done a lot of major rebrands. One just recently is Ancorum Credit Union. We just rebranded all 16 of their locations. So just a few.
Formerly 5 County.
What about the smallest?
I've done a vinyl hours on a door that says no solicitors.
Yep. Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I was curious about. Like,
We'll do it. That's the thing. A lot of people think we're too big to do some of the smaller jobs, but we like to consider us a one-stop shop. Yep. Interior, exterior, lit, non-lit, flat-cut letters. We do ADA signage, so if anybody needs to be ADA compliant in their offices, buildings. We're doing a lot with this housing boom going on with all these projects out there. We're doing more and more ADAs that we just recently bought a new machine, so we can we more or less quadrupled our output on the amount of signs we can do at a given time. Just saw the need coming and the increase for it. And, unfortunately, over the last couple of years, there's been a few sign shops throughout the state that have closed, and New Hampshire. It's kind of a dying art. You don't have as many people going into it. It's not just a fabrication job where you can go to CM, get your welding degree, and come in and start welding. Most all our stuff is aluminum, so it's probably one of the harder metals to weld. The customization that we do, and then being able to light it without having these shadow lines in there. I mean, we see some signs that we do after the fact, and we'll tear them apart just because the lighting's not right. We try to light every cabinet in our shop before they go out, just to make sure. And as soon as we see those lines, we'll tear it apart. We do our best to give our customers their final number in the proposal, which usually we hold on to that, whether we have to rework something because of our own errors or something we misinterpreted. The only time that it might come up where we run into stuff is when we go dig a hole and they tell us it's one thing because we can't see in the ground. We can dig safe all we want, but, sometimes you get a foot down and there's a big old boulder there and they're telling us it was all fill and brand new stuff they brought in. So that's where we run into a few issues, but we'll usually, work with the end user at that point, try to understand better or try to come up with a solution there.
Is there anything else about Neokraft that any of you would like to let our listeners know before we move on to our final segment?
Something, but I don't know if I'll be ready for the final segment. Like when we say, what was one more thing about Neokraft? And that's what I'll chime in on that one.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Dirigo Federal Credit Union is proud to call Lewiston Auburn home. Whether you're buying a house, saving for the future, or growing your business, we're here for you, right where you live. Visit dirigofcu.com and feel the difference of a credit union that truly knows LA.
All right, guys, we'd like to close out the show with a segment called 3 Random Questions, where I'm going to ask you questions that have nothing to do with Neokraft. We're just trying to get to know you a little better as members of our community. We'll start with Mike Langelier and work our way around. Mike, if you were presented with a time machine and you could only use it for 24 hours, where would you go and why?
Come on, Mark.
What?
Oh,
what did you think I was going to ask? What's your favorite color? That's not
that would have
happening.
been easy.
No, we dig deep here.
My gosh, that's a great question. Boy, this will sound kind of crazy, but since the U.S. hockey just won gold, I suppose I would love to go back and see that 1980 game live in Lake Placid.
Oh my goodness,
how's that?
That's
pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, you're talking an arena at Lake Placid that I think held like 4,500 people. The arena here in Lewiston is 3,500 or 3,700 full. So we're not talking a 20,000 person arena. There was a small amount of people there if you consider the game. So to be there live and watch that, I suppose I could do that, and then I can stay for 24 hours. I'll just party with the team.
There you go. What a great answer. All right. Mike Mathieu, same question.
It's one of those you wish you had a day to think about because so many things popping through my head and I'm going to say something and say, oh, I should have said that an hour later, And what Mike just said did pop into my head too. I was 11 years old, big hockey player back then. We all grew up that way around here. I'm not sure. I've always been a big music fan, different areas. One of the things I would have loved to have been able to see is maybe the Grateful Dead in their prime out in California or something. Mm-hmm. Just the way everything was. Woodstock. I always wonder what Woodstock would have been. You can see everything, but to experience that had to be different as far as music goes. Maybe going back to, learning when stock markets crashed to buy everything up because I wouldn't be here right now. be doing whatever the heck I wanted. So that
All right,
wouldn't
you've
have been a
given
bad
like
time.
3 answers.
I'm just saying, they're coming to me now. But yes,
Right.
okay, so that's it. That's it.
Okay. All right, Clay.
I kind of had like 3 of his answers. 'Cause the music part of it was interesting to me. I mean, I'd love to go back and see some of those bands, like the Leonard Skinner, the Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, any of those old ones that you didn't go long enough that you wonder what their careers could have been. Yeah. There's so many great places in history that you can go back to. Go back to see Lincoln give a speech, or how far back do you want to go? There's so many things you could see that could be so great. It's tough.
Mike Mathieu, we'll start with you on this one. What's your favorite way to unwind after a busy day?
Oh.
Oh, we're getting some Snickers here from the Peanut Gallery.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was just
something in your throat?
Yeah, something in my throat there.
Definitely. Okay. Depends on the day, of course. Mike's laughing because on Fridays we tend to head over to Gridiron. It's so close, we'll have a beer. My son is now 21, so he works for us as well, so he'll come over. And there's a game called Golden Tee. My son and I tend to play a little bit, so you don't have to think about anything. It's a little bit of a dig on one another, and then depending, Mike, Clay, whoever comes for a beer, they'll watch us, give us a hard time. So that's probably my most recent lay back, not have to think of anything for a while.
All right, Clay.
Well, it depends. If wintertime when it's cold and I don't want to be outside or anything like that, I do enjoy a little bit of video gaming and cooking. I do enjoy doing some cooking and making some nice meals. In summer, it's camping. It's going out being outdoors, and my weekend getaway is gold panning. So,
wow, you're an interesting dude.
Don't tell anybody.
All right, I won't. What video game and what are you cooking? What's your specialty?
Video games, just about anything simulated, space engineers, stuff like that.
Okay.
And cooking, I like cooking pretty much everything, whether it's proteins for steak and chicken and pork, whatever. Yeah. Just enjoy finding new recipes and trying different stuff out.
All right. Do you watch a lot of cooking shows on TV? Does that inspire you?
More than I'd like to admit.
And Mike Langelier, how do you relax after a busy day?
Yeah, so I'll agree with Clay as far as like time of year. Winter is more. I do enjoy cooking. Shrimp scampi's probably one I can nail down. With a glass of wine. I have a hard time cooking in the winter and not having a glass of wine.
Yeah.
I also have a hard time grilling in the summer and not having an ice cold beer.
Gotcha. I'm sensing a theme.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with, Fridays if we scoot down to Gridiron just on wine on a late afternoon. And yeah, my wife and I do enjoy a cocktail and a wine down in the evening, especially after a hard work day.
Gotcha. All right. Clay, we're starting with you for our final question. If you could attend any concert in history and have the best seats in the house, who would you go see and why?
That's really loaded. In history, I'll be honest that I think my favorite concert that I would love to have attended would be Wacken Open Air in 2013 in Germany with Nightwish headlining.
Wow. This guy digs deep, Mike.
He cooks food like that, too. You don't know what it is half the time he's talking about.
I love it.
Wow.
Yeah. Great answer. Mike Langelier.
I think Clay mentioned this band earlier, but in their prime, Leonard Skinner.
Oof. All right.
I'm a big 70s rock guy.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Southern rock, I had a lot of friends growing up when we were 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, and that's what we listened to. Yeah. And I have to tell you, during the Olympics, when the U.S. would win gold, they played Freebird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They cranked Freebird.
That's awesome.
So I had to actually rewind that hockey game for my wife. She goes, "Did they play Freebird?" I said, "Oh, yeah." So I was rewinding and I said, "Watch when they score after about 5 seconds. All the guys jump on the ice. You can hear Freebird cranking." So to see Freebird live would be pretty darn cool.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Mike Mathieu, we'll stick with the music theme.
I've always been a fan of The Who as well.
Yeah.
I mentioned Grateful Dead. There's something, The Who. There's so many of the Stones I've never seen that people say you've got to and everything. But I think it would probably be The Who, back when they were really jamming quite well. You know, anybody in their prime, really, you know, because I can say I saw Van Halen, but it's later on, you know.
Right,
I've seen
yeah.
I never got to see him in their prime, you
David
know.
Lee Roth was in a wheelchair, but still, I saw them.
That's right. He was off making his own stuff, you know.
That's
But
right.
Sammy cranked it for a little bit.
He did.
But no, I mean, again, so many growing up that it's hard to pinpoint. But if
Yeah.
we could get to any of them in their prime, I wouldn't say no.
Guys, it's been a whole lot of fun. I hope you had fun as well. And thanks for joining us today. And much more success to Neokraft Signs.
Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate being here today.
All right, and we appreciate you as well. Thanks to Ruper's Beverage and Redemption and DeBlois Electric for sponsoring today's episode. And if you'd like to be part of the Lydia's Lunch Bunch advertising family, reach out to Pam Ashby via email at pam@lydiamediallc.com.
Have a great day. And remember, don't bite your cat.